One of the most, if not the actual most interesting thing about the new Pokémon Legends Z-A trailer was the introduction of the Rust Syndicate, a menacing organization that operates within Lumiose. They are the kind of guys that instantly look evil but are more likely than not our red herring for this new Legends game, kinda like Team Skull in Alola. But what is their ultimate goal? What are they trying to do? Well, hey, I'm not so a strainer, and I have a theory. Let's get into it. I want to start this with a bit of extra information regarding this organization. If you've watched my video on details you might have missed in the trailer, then you probably know I originally connected the organization's boss to Kieran and Carmine due to some physical similarities, but also because Corbo just kinda reminds me of Serendipity. Plus, he also has that Yakuza coded design, and that applies to everything around him. However, people far smarter than me when it comes to the Japanese language, and by that I mean Pokesutami, pointed out that Corbo speaks in Kansai dialect or Osaka dialect, usually attributed to people that come from Johto and not Kitakami, as it has its own dialect in the games as well, something we can spot on Kieran. Now, while this doesn't really mean that they're not related at all, it would mean that they are more distantly than closely related, which doesn't really change anything of what I'm about to say, but I thought I should correct myself. What is more important here is that the Rust Syndicate likely formed somewhere in between what happened in Pokemon X and Y and what's gonna happen in Pokemon Legends Z-A, growing up in a Lumiose city that is very different from the one we met back in the day. And also one that is very different from the one we have right now. But do they simply want money, or do they want something else? Well, like and hype this video, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a channel member to help out with the content, and well, let's carry on. The Rust Syndicate, while primarily a poison type organization, judging by the color scheme, the flags and symbol, the whizzing statue outside, the swim quillfish, and the artwork used by Corbo, also has an affinity with the steel type. We have the Steelix artwork in the background here, the King Gambit statue, their name uses rust, which is associated with steel/iron, and I mean the whole design of this guy right here screams steel type. Them being a syndicate also means that they're likely the agglomeration of more than one criminal organization, likely one that specialized in poison and another one that specialized in steel type Pokemon. This strangely gives them an advantage over a very specific Pokemon type that was introduced in the Kalos region, the Fairy type. While I don't think that they're anti-Fairy type, as that would be weird, what has Fairy type done to anyone that isn't a dragon, I do believe they might be against what Fairy type represents. And so if we strip Fairy type down to its bare bones, we can see Fairy type as progress, as evolution, as change. I believe the Rust Syndicate is against exactly that, against change. They are against what Quasargico is doing, believing that the transformation that's taking Lumiose City by storm is not a positive one. Any criminal organization does like seeing the place they have adapted to, the place that has adapted to them, change. More issues are happening with Pokemon and people, which likely makes their business a lot harder. And Rust, which is in their name, it's through steel, the same steel used in construction, for example, like the one in the scaffolding you find all over the city with Quasargico's logo on it. Sure, they like money and they clearly have it. In fact, we know the reason we're working under them is because someone from Team MZ likely owes them money. But I believe they simply oppose this kind of progress, as they might feel it would make them obsolete. Maybe that's why Corbeau is in the Z-A Royale, he wants to wish it all to stop. In fact, if his accent truly means he's from or connected to Johto, then it would make even more sense, as Johto is the tradition that resists Kanto's progress. I feel like in the end they will be very important, as I think they are bad, but they're not evil. In fact, if what I predicted in my last video is correct, which you should absolutely go watch after this one, then we'll need something that just works against Fairy type. And well, having an organization that specializes in poison and steel is certainly gonna come in handy. But what do you think is their goal? Do you think they're evil? Do you think they're not? What do they want? Let me know down below. For now, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. But before I go, I want to thank my YouTube members Dash Plays and Gatsy, and also my Twitch subscribers Anubis Year, Zanes222, and the Dr. Joe for going that extra mile. Thank you all so much.